So guys, we've just had Kell Brook and Micheal Zerafa. Kell Brook wins a unanimous decision against Micheal Zerafa. It was quite a dull fight. I thought it was a very poor performance by Kell Brook. The man looked a shadow of himself. He didn't look great. He was missing a lot. He was getting caught a lot. And I just think he looked terrible. Normally when we see Kell Brook against opponents like of that level, he gets rid of them and he destroys them quite quickly. He's quite brutal when he fights these low level opponents. If you look at throughout Kell Brook's career, when he's fought these lower level guys, he's beaten them quite convincingly. But today he was sluggish. He was getting caught a lot. And it was just overall a very poor performance. Frotch was saying it as well, that if you look at Kell Brook and you think him fighting the top level guys, you can't really see him winning those fights. We're talking about Jarrett Head, we're talking about Charlo, Jaime Munguia. Honestly, I can't see him even being competitive in those fights. Now, I don't know how much he was up for this fight, but the thing is with Kell Brook, he's a counterpuncher, reflexes. Once that starts going, it's probably because you're slowing down. The fact that you're getting caught with shots, nobody wants to get caught with shots. There's this conspiracy that Kell Brook intentionally had, put a poor performance in for, so Amir Khan would take the fight. No, he didn't. That no fighter goes inside. Boxing's too dangerous for you to go inside a ring and just put in a poor performance, because it only takes one punch to hit your chin, and for your equilibrium to go all over the place and the fight's over. So this is what I'm trying to say, that there was no conspiracy theory here. He just had a poor performance. Now, a lot of people are saying ring rust and he hasn't fought for a while. I don't think so. I think Kell Brook is not the fighter he once was. I said that about Amir Khan. I don't think he's the fighter he once was. But the difference is with Amir Khan, he's still got his X factor. He's still got his speed. That's still there. Kell Brook, punching power must be questioned, because he couldn't get the guy out of there. And that guy was a punching bag. He was just standing there. He was tough, don't get me wrong. He was tough, and he was definitely taking the shots. But he was right in front of him, and he was getting tagged a lot. The guy had a swollen eye from the first round. So, he was standing right in front of Kell Brook, and Kell Brook, to me, couldn't do anything. He couldn't do anything with him, and he went 12 rounds. And to be honest, Micheal Zerafa's not. If we thought Sammy Vargas was a low-level opponent, this is Micheal Zerafa's a lot lower than someone like Sammy Vargas. Sammy Vargas has been in those big fights. Zerafa has only fought Peter Quillen. And the guy you could tell he was fairly limited, and he's only had 2 losses, so it shows what kind of opponents the man's been in with. If he's only had 2 losses, he's been in with very low level opponents, because anybody that has a bit of boxing ability would beat the guy that Kell Brook's just gone 12 rounds with. But what do I make of Kell Brook? I don't think Kell Brook can fight at the elite level in 154 or 147. I think he'd get beat, and I think he'd get beat well. I don't think he's got it anymore to fight at that elite level. He's talking about, I want to fight the big boys, I want to fight Porter, Spence, and on that performance, you'd have to say Kell Brook's on the way out, and he's looking for that one last fight. Because what you got to realize is that if he fights someone like Spence Porter, I think he gets beat quite convincingly, and a lot of people say that I'm a Amir Khan fan, or what, which obviously I am. But on that performance, honestly, before this fight, I'd probably say Kell Brook was a favourite in that fight, just because of Amir Khan's last performance. He looked quite vulnerable, he looked quite slow, and I was a bit scared. But now, after watching Kell Brook, I actually think he beats him quite well. I think he could even stop Kell Brook, because this guy was catching Kell Brook clean on the chin, right? And don't get me wrong, Kell Brook's quite tough. But there's only so much you can take from someone like Amir Khan, who's throwing 5-6 punches, combinations, and hitting you. Kell Brook would have to take Amir Khan out. And on that performance, he's going to struggle to land on him, let alone take him out. He's going to struggle to land on him because that guy was a static target, and Kell Brook was missing so many punches, throwing punches, right hands that were just, that guy was ducking under. He just looked so slow. And that, to me, is a sign that a fighter is no longer the fighter he once was. And I generally don't think Kell Brook was a fighter he once was. I think he is past it, but we all know that, you know, the Khan fight is still a fascinating fight. I don't think he can compete with any of the 147-pounders or 154-pounders top guys. And I don't think he's looking for that, if I'm totally honest. I think he wants the Khan fight because he knows it's a loaded dough and he can win that fight. But on that performance, I think Khan beats him. I think Khan can outbox him, and I think Khan could stop him because there's only so much you can take. Kell Brook's a tough guy, and Khan's not the biggest of punchers, but I think Khan would be hitting him so frequently that, you know, I think he would eventually get to him. That's just my opinion on that performance. You know, and I don't think Kell Brook's going to get a lot better than this because, like I said, the thing is with Kell Brook, he's a counter puncher. And normally Kell Brook's very accurate. He doesn't miss a lot of shots. He doesn't waste a lot of bullets. But today he was missing a lot. The guy, a static target was making him miss. Can you imagine Khan, who's a moving target, how hard he'll be to hit? And then he's also throwing a lot of combinations at you as well. That's going to be a tough fight for Kell Brook, I think, at the minute. Don't get me wrong, Kell Brook could hurt Amir Khan and he could definitely knock him out. But that's the only really shot he's got. I don't think he's going to outbox him. He looked a lot slower. And I just think, like I said, I think Kell Brook now at elite level is going to struggle to fight those top guys. And I do think if he doesn't get the Khan fight, he's going to step into a massive fight. And I think that might be the end of Kell Brook. That might just be the end of Kell Brook. So if Khan does go down the Crawford route, I do fear for Kell Brook, and I do fear because I think Kell Brook's going to be frustrated that Khan's gone another way, and I think he's going to jump into a monster fight at 154 or 147, and I think he'll get beat quite well, quite handily. He'll get beat, and the worst thing is if he decides to go down to 147, you know, there's been a lot of question marks, and there's many people saying that he shouldn't go down to 147. He'll be like a zombie, and he might be. You know, he might be. The weight might play a massive part here because Kell Brook, we know, struggles to make 147. And on that performance tonight, he looked very slow. So can you imagine him taking off more weight? He'll be even more flat. And I don't see him causing any problems to any top 147 fighters. I think Kell Brook now is a shadow of himself at any weight. But I think at 147 he's gonna struggle to make the weight so badly that I just don't see him beating any top guy in around that weight, because the only reason why you would say that he's got a chance against Amir Khan is because, like, people say that Amir Khan's vulnerable, he can get hit, he can go down. But really, that's the only shot even in that fight he's got, that he's gonna have to land something. Otherwise, he gets beat up in that fight. He'll get beat up. When I mean beat up, I mean Khan is so fast. Khan's going to be catching him with shots because Kell Brook's defense looked terrible tonight. And that's not going to get any better. That's what he is. I just think that Khan's going to be catching him with so many shots. It's going to be very difficult for Kell Brook in that fight. But again, can Kell Brook get Amir Khan out of there? I'm not sure. But before, you would say that, you know, in that fight there was two results: either Khan winning on points or Kell Brook knocking Amir Khan out. Now I say there's another outcome of that fight, and that's Khan stopping Kell Brook. Because the differences with the guy that Kell Brook fought, the guy that was catching Kell Brook, firstly, Amir Khan's so much faster than the guy, and Amir Khan's going to be hitting you 4, 5, 6, 7 punches in a split second, and he's very accurate with those punches. So I favour now. After watching that, before this fight, I was actually very worried for that fight. I actually thought, you know what, I don't know. Brook's very dangerous. He still is a very tough fight, but I'm more confident now if that fight was to be made that Amir Khan will win. I'm more confident because Kell Brook didn't look very good at all tonight. And him going down to 147, I think is gonna be even worse for him. So I think that there's going to be many disadvantages, and he's going to have to do a rehydration clause as well, which he's agreed to live on air. So honestly, I don't think Kell Brook beats Amir Khan. I don't think Kell Brook beats any top fighter now on that performance. The only chance, I do give him a chance against Amir Khan because of the reasons I mentioned, but anybody else in around the top, world level fighters or world champions, I don't give him any chance. Even the Khan fight, I think he'd be the underdog now in that fight. And I just think Kell Brook is a shadow of himself now. He's no longer the fighter he once was. And I think if he doesn't get the Khan fight, it could be curtains. But like I said, I always want to see good for a British fighter. I know Kell Brook said a lot of things about Khan, and everybody knows that I have the soft spot towards Khan, but I want to see Kell Brook do well because I do think he was an exceptional fighter at one point in his career. I genuinely mean this, even though like I said, I have a soft spot for Khan. I do think Kell Brook was an exceptional talent, but actually now people are looking at Kell Brook and saying he was never that good anyway. He's never fought anybody, but actually Kell Brook was a very good fighter. But mismanagement, taking the wrong fights, not getting the fights that he should have got, has resulted in Kell Brook, in a position now where it's probably Khan or nothing, because you can't see him beating any of the guys in and around 147 or 154 that are world champions. Where is there for him to go? And Amir Khan's right that he holds all the cards, because there is nowhere for Kell Brook to go now. He doesn't have anywhere to go. Where does he go? Khan's got a $5 million offer there for Crawford where he can go. But the problem is with Kell Brook, he's got nowhere to go, because and I think Kell Brook and his team around him know that. Even the fact that he split it with Dominic Ingle, they know that Kell Brook's probably a shadow of himself. And I think everybody in around Kell Brook knows that he's no longer the fighter he once was. And this is why he's looking for the Khan fight, because he probably looks at Khan the same way he looks at himself, that they're both past their best. Whereas him fighting any of the top 154, 147, they're at their peak and they're beasts. They could beat Kell Brook even if Kell Brook was at his best. They would probably be favourites to beat him. So what's it going to be like Kell Brook, this Kell Brook? You'd have to make him a massive, massive favourite if he was to fight any of those guys. And like I said, I even make Khan favourite. But I do feel for Kell Brook because he didn't get the fights that he wanted. And forget the Khan fight. I do think he's chasing Khan too much, but there's other fights that Kell Brook could have taken, which would have been good for him. But, I think he's done what Amir Khan's done. Even though Amir Khan's fought a lot more top-level guys than Kell Brook and beaten a lot more names, and I don't think Kell Brook has fought any top-level names, because all he's done throughout his career is religiously chase Amir Khan. That's all he's done. At least before Amir Khan chased the Mayweathers, chased the Pacquiaos, he had done a lot. The difference is with Kell Brook, he didn't do a lot. He's won one fight against Porter, but that's his only really notable win. Who else has he beaten? Which other world-class fighter has Kell Brook beaten? Nobody. He hasn't beaten. This is what I mean. So when you look back at Kell Brook's career, you look at he's fought 3 top-level guys and he's lost two of them. It doesn't look great because he hasn't fought the lot of top-level. And now he's looking for an Amir Khan fight. If he doesn't get that, he's going to go into another monster fight against somebody that's probably going to be a massive favourite against him. And he loses that fight, he's probably finished. So it's going to be difficult. And that fight could be potentially brutal depending on who he faces. If he decides to face someone like Errol Spence again, that could potentially be brutal, because I think next time Errol Spence would do a much better job on him. And it could be a lot brutal next time. Porter would be a hard fight. And who's the other champion? Crawford. Khan. Looks like Khan might go down that route. But at 154, Charlo, Hurd, Munguia, you don't want to be fighting those guys. Especially with Kell Brook with his dodgy eye sockets. We don't know how much his eye sockets are going to hold, with guys punching him regularly in the eye. So I just think it looks bleak for Kell Brook, but maybe it was just a bad performance. I don't know, but it didn't look good. It didn't look good, and I do think that we may be coming towards the end of Kell Brook's career. I don't think he's got many fights left. Maximum 2. Maybe the next one might be the last, because I don't think Kell Brook's got long left in the sport from what I saw tonight. But yeah, guys, leave your thoughts on what you made of Kell Brook's performance. Do you think the Amir Khan fight will happen? If the Amir Khan fight doesn't happen, do you think he can beat the top guys at 147, 154? Guys, leave your thoughts. And guys, remember to please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video.